Looking good, looking good. And go to Facebook. And Facebook is working, and we are going live on Facebook. All right.
Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black.
All right, cut that noise. Hey, guys, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black at Night show, another edition of No Sellouts. And I'd like to do a sound check briefly. Hey, folks, can you hear my guest? Guest, could you say hello?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
All right. And now I'm checking YouTube and making sure. Hey, Brian in the house. Brian Crosby's in the house. Stu Burr. Stu Burr is in the house. All right, this is YouTube. Audio's good, says Brian. Thank you, Brian. Man, Brian, you are always on point, man. If I didn't have you,
it's going to be consequences and repercussions.
There would be consequences and repercussions. All right, guys. Welcome to the show. Look, I'm really happy to have this guest, this gentleman that you see here, because this is his second time running. The first time he ran, I was kind of late to the party, man. He had kind of ended his candidacy, and I was like, "Damn it, Bill! I wanted you on the show. I missed out on the opportunity. I'm glad I'm able to make that up to him." Ladies and gentlemen, a candidate for Massachusetts District 9 in the house, Bill Cimbrelo. Give it up.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Man, thank you. You're a veteran to the game, Bill. You know how campaigns work. I like to start off always asking people, politics is such a rough game, man. Bill, what got into your head to make you want to run for office?
Actually, it's been made incredibly easy. There's about 530 reasons for me to run. About 430 of them are in the House, and about 98 are in the Senate. And they're all been bought by corporate America, and they're leaving us hanging out to dry. And I am just sick of it, Tim.
Oh, man. That is the best. Look, that is the best response. I got to give it to you, Bill. That was the best response, man. Look who's in there. Bill's like, look who's in there. What else could I do? I got to run.
That's it. Zero options.
That's right. I care about my kids. I care about my neighbors. I care about the country. What am I going to do?
That's
Bill,
it.
Bill, tell people a little bit about, let's jump into it. Look, I said, Bill, what would you like the theme of the show to be? I'd like you to pick a topic, and he said education. And then I checked his website, guys, and he's a big time proponent for free local tuition for college students. Bill, could you explain how that works and what brought you to that conclusion?
Well, Tim, unfortunately, we live in a world where self-fulfilling prophecies are what the conservatives, I'll say that in quotes, want to profess. We have a situation where we have 43 million people living in poverty. That number is growing. We've got a tremendous gap in education between the haves and the have-nots. And it's just one big circle jerk, unfortunately, of the people that are unable to attain the level of education that they want, they deserve. And then that turns around into a blame game. Oh, look at these poor people. They're uneducated. They're unable to really contribute to society, the tax base, all those things we all hear all the time. Again, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Give people the tools to succeed, and they will succeed. And I believe that so deeply in my heart, Tim. I hope I didn't make a lot of noise just here. But look, we've got to lift people up. And there's no better way of doing that than lifting them up with a good education. And I don't mean just college. If you looked at my website, vocational training is important. College is not for everyone. Okay, it really isn't. Absolutely. And some people, everyone has a different strength, a different aptitude. So everyone is good at something, right? So, take training that is going to work towards that strength. And something that's going to make you a viable contender in the employment market. Now we're hearing that it's a tight market right now, that they're actually having problems finding qualified people, which is a great excuse to bring the HB1 visa people over here, and which I have very mixed feelings about that. I really would like to see us growing our labor force here. But getting back to the education thing, it's not just college, it's not just vocational. It gets down to preschool, Tim.
Wow.
Okay, because we're really looking at some incredible disparity here between where the people that can send their kids to preschool and get things started very early on, and the data is enormous, just showing time and time again the importance of preschool education and getting these kids geared up towards elementary and high school and so forth. It's just, the data is overwhelming. And so we've got to have funding for that from day one. And all of that has to happen. The college education has to happen. I'm also for forgiving and or restructuring college loans where possible for people that qualify for that. Right. I also would like to put college loans back into the bankruptcy code. Now, somebody was saying to me the other day, they said, well, if you put it back into the bankruptcy code, the minute people graduate college, they're going to go running into the court and say, I'm bankrupt. Well, the bankruptcy code doesn't really work that way. You have to show financials. You really have to qualify to file for bankruptcy. And it's not a pretty thing because you really mess up your credit score for 7+ years. Absolutely. So, I don't see people, flooding the bankruptcy court after graduating college or vocational school. But I think the people that right now are in a stranglehold because they're up to here in debt need to have that opportunity to start anew. And let's be realistic. The debt right now, the college loans, and that includes college and graduate school, that includes medical school, this includes law school, is up to $1.5 trillion. So we're talking a debt that is twice the military budget. Wow. Okay. Wow. It's an enormous number, and it makes the mortgage crisis look like Cracker Jacks. I mean, it's just, if this thing implodes, and there's a lot of people talking about that it will, it's going to be worse than any recession and potentially take us into a depression state.
But Bill, I thought that Donald Trump said, and the reports show that we're at such record levels of employment, and everyone's doing so much better now because Trump's in office. I thought this was something we didn't need to worry about anymore because we got Trumpy in there fighting for us, and we just got this big tax cut that's going to help all of the middle income and lower income and poor people and people beneath the poverty line. Like, I thought we were all taken care of, man. Are you saying that's not true?
I'm afraid so, Tim. I hate to break the bad news to you, but I'm afraid that is not true. And I think, the house of cards, if I may use that term, is not far from collapsing. Real unemployment in this country is hovering somewhere around between 22 and 25%. When you look at people that are underemployed, and you look at people that are working 2-3 jobs, just to be able to keep their head above water. So
hold on, Bill, you got to stop right there, brother, because that's something that I've been trying to drive home with everyone. You just said real unemployment. What's the difference between real unemployment and the statistics that they're currently using in the White House?
Well, the way they calculate unemployment right now, it's based on the people that are actually going to the unemployment office, and they may be doing it online. And these are the people that are registered into the process, and they're getting their checks for X amount of weeks, and that varies from state to state. And if you recall, during the Great Recession, many of the states extended unemployment considerably to get us through there. But the bottom line is that number is not a real number, because there are many, many people that have flat out have given up. And once they give up, or once their benefits are no longer there, they have fallen off that 4.1% number, but they're still there. They're still struggling. They're still not making ends meet, and they still need to be counted as part of the equation.
So all the people that went out and they became Uber specialists, Uber pick 'em up drivers, these people who were thinking like, look, I'm looking for a job. Hey, I'll make my own job, so to speak. Those people are not counted in the numbers, even though they don't get benefits, traditional benefits that you would think you would get with a job, such as, paid medical leave, sick days, vacation, all the things that comes with a typical employment.
That's correct, and those jobs are typically, and I have to confess, I may be wrong, but many of those jobs are typically known as contract jobs or 1099 jobs. Mm-hmm. So in a 1099 job, you don't get a W-2, and these people are most likely not filing quarterly returns that would show up then to the government as people that are employed. Correct? So you're right. Anything like that is just not going to show up, and people are struggling. Absolutely.
Yeah. I just I don't know. When you talk about education, I like the fact that you also mentioned that it's not just college. We're talking about people who I don't know, if you want to be a graphic designer, maybe you want to go to a graphic design school. I never understood that if you say, well, the Republicans are about, business. Well, people need certain training to be effective in business. Right. So why not outfit these people so that they have the ability to compete in this marketplace? I was also checking your website where you said that now the college, the bachelor's degree is equivalent to the high school diploma in today's modern age.
Right. So in terms of training and knowledge, that's correct. You could come out, back in the 50s, let's say, and come out and with a high school diploma and do okay,
raise a family and even have just one person work. You could, that family household with the wife back in the day, the Ozzie and Harriet thing they had going on. They have, the dad be out working or whatever, and wife would be able to stay home with the kids and if she wanted to. Okay. I don't want to be a chauvinist pig, but I know whenever I think about the traditional, what America's sort of like around the 50s, that type of thing, right?
Right. And again, that gets back to a little bit of the hypocrisy that I see from the conservatives, because, they want the family values, they want all that, but they're not willing to put in the bucks to make it happen. They're willing to spend $800 billion to bomb Yemen or whatever, but to invest it here in this country and make us better, they have a tough time with that. There's a very, it's almost sinful. 25% of Americans think that the sun goes around the earth.
Wow. Well, that's just lack of knowledge, lack of education, lack of knowledge, and I guess it's not pertinent to their everyday life, But 45% of Americans thought that Trump would be, was great. I don't know, but maybe just better than Hillary. I don't know. They didn't have a lot of choices. They didn't know who Jill was. Bernie was out. What was your take? I don't want to bounce around too much, but I would like to know, how do you feel about the current state of the Russia investigation? What's going on with they call it they got Manafort, Papadopoulos, Michael Flynn. Now they got Steve Bannon. I know we're jumping the shark a little bit, but I don't know. Just what are your thoughts about that type of stuff, about Russia and U.S. and Mueller, the investigation?
Well, so I think I don't think Russia outwardly influenced the election. I think there's plenty of evidence, even from the DNC lawsuit that took place, where they actually admitted that Hillary was going to be the nominee, no matter what. So I think the Russian part of it, yes, I do think that Trump and his organization did try to get dirt on the Clintons. I don't doubt that for a minute. There's ample evidence of that. But did that cause the Clinton dynasty to be thrown? I don't think so. I think that I think what happened was going to happen anyway. I think there's enough people in this country that were disgruntled with the Democratic Party. You've got over 1,000 legislative seats that have evaporated over the years because they stopped delivering. They kept saying something out of one side of their mouth. The minute they got elected and they got in, they started answering to corporate America instead of the people that voted for them. And you've got a situation where you've got a government body that has a 16% approval rating, yet has a 95% reelection rate. There's a huge disconnect there, Tim. And somewhere, somehow, and hopefully, this is sort of backwards, but maybe Trump is the great deliverer for us, because he is going to galvanize this nation, and we are going to flip this House and maybe have significant impact here on the Senate in the 2008 midterms. And that's certainly my hope. Whether I get in or not, that is certainly my hope. We've got to flip the House, and we've got to really neuter Trump and really stop the government from having this total control from the two branches of the government.
Hey, folks, I want you to know that Bill didn't know I was going to ask that question or anything. It just came to me out of a flash, and Bill answered so forthright and honest and real. I just want people to know. I mean, like, I'm really impressed with that. That's just how he feels. And I've always had that sense about Bill since it's almost been 2 years since I've been following this guy on Twitter. So Bill, being an outspoken guy like you are, man, and not being a part of the establishment, and what's your background? We jumped right in, but what's your background, Bill? What led up to this? Well,
I'm going to tell you a personal story, but you can't tell anybody.
I promise, brother.
So I first came to this country just shy of 6 years old. I came from Argentina. I actually came with my mother. My father had come a year before, settled down, and found work. And believe it or not, we came on a cargo ship. My mother and I, now we weren't in with the bananas, so calm down. But my mother, the ship actually had passenger compartments, and my mother and I, and coincidentally, another mother and her son were among the passengers, and I think there were 3 or 4 other ones. So, cool experience, 22 days at sea. I actually got to steer this freighter twice on a fruit crate.
Okay. So they knew you were there. You weren't hiding out. Okay.
Oh, no, not on that trip. No. So the really cool experience. At one point, a flying fish came into our portal inside the cabin. Yeah.
Be careful with those. I saw who's the guy someone got stabbed by a flying fish? I was flying swordfish.
Oh, no, this wasn't a swordfish. It's a flying fish. No.
Okay, flying fish. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, now here I wasn't even 6. I remember all this now. Wow. Okay. So, but anyway, so we come into New York Harbor, the Statue of Liberty is there. And there's this gentleman on the bow of the ship, and he's guiding, he is now gone blind. He's been back and forth to the States by ship a number of times, but he's largely blind. Wow. He's one of the passengers, and he's on the bow of the ship, and I guess he sees enough shadow, whatever. And he's telling all the other first-time passengers, there's the Statue of Liberty, there's the Empire State Building, and there's this and this, that. And like my mother's crying, and the other mother, everyone's crying, here's this blind guy describing the scene to a T. Wow. So I arrived into the United States in August of 1963. And as you may remember, in November 22nd of that year, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And I remember being sent home from school, and I remember everyone crying. And I at that point, I didn't really, have a sense of totally of what was going on. But, the whole nation was obviously in mourning. But so this is the part that's really personal. So when my mother sent me to school the first day, I didn't know a drop of English, nothing. So she taught me to say, "May I go to the bathroom, please?" True story. So by the third day, my mother got called to the school, and the teacher asked, does Bill have a bladder problem? Because that's all I knew how to say.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't tell anyone that story. So obviously I've learned English since then,
Yeah.
but I'm fully bilingual. I went on to graduate from Arlington High in Arlington, Massachusetts, and then went to UMass Boston, the commuter campus here, excellent university, and graduated with a degree in chemistry. And went from there. I went actually to work for the metal finishing and printed circuit board industry. Now, every electronic device we own has a printed circuit board in it. Back then, the company I went to work for was one of the top companies in the world that made the chemicals for this process. All that now, as you may know, got all outsourced, exported to the Pacific Rim, and we've seen the videos and photographs of the polluted waterways in China and Taiwan, et cetera, where they did not bother with any of the pollution control. So they've got heavy metals now that have polluted all their waterways. And that's why that business went over there. And again, businesses just keep doing that. They keep finding ways to chop costs with no regard for what the ramifications are. So after being in that industry for a while, I really gravitated to the pollution control side of that business. I really was interested in the fact that, okay, here's all these metals that we're rinsing off of these boards, copper, lead, that are regulated. And the factories had to have systems to be able to pull these out of the water to then discharge it to the local sewer authority. So I went and I gravitated into that. I moved into that field. I ended up designing systems for that. And that went really well until really conservatives took over the White House, and you saw EPA regulations, much like they are now, are being kind of said, they're kind of be swept under the rug. It's okay
Right.
now. And so there was a lot of attrition going on in that industry. One company swallowing another. And I honestly, I got fed up with it. I had always been doing remodeling on the side, and I started my own remodeling business full time.
Hey, well, give it up for that. Give it up for that.
So, make a long story short, which is probably too long already.
Make a short story long.
Yeah. So, here I am. I've been in this business. I nearly lost everything in 2000, 2008. I had to file personal bankruptcy, but we persevered. You have to reinvent yourself. You keep going. You know that well yourself, right? About reinventing yourself. And so, we're doing well now, knock on wood. And we have good customers, loyal customers, repeat customers, and it's a good time for us. But again, I just feel that we need to get on the right track here. We're about to fall off the cliff.
So we have a man with a chemistry background, degree in chemistry. He came from Argentina. He knows what it's like to, I guess, build from the bottom up, literally. And he's also a business owner, small business owner, and he cares about the environment. He cares about education. It sounds like a very refreshing retreat from the Wall Street. The Wall Street cutouts that we seem to keep getting. It sounds very refreshing to have somebody with this type of background, Bill. What are some other things about Boston that's needed that you want to fight for your constituents if you're elected?
Well, the 9th District actually encompasses the most rapidly aging portion of Massachusetts. There are a lot of retirees down here. It encompasses Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket, Provincetown, and the South Shore. So, and just below Boston. So it's a very diverse and actually geographically one of the largest territories as far as districts go in Massachusetts. It's also got 500 miles of coastline just on the Cape when you count all the estuaries that could go in and out. So guess what matters? Global warming is important to us. Rising sea levels are important to us. Erosion from weather changing weather patterns and changing ocean temperatures that affect migratory fish patterns, because the largest industries here on Cape Cod are fishing and tourism. Okay, so very, very important to this industry. And during the summer season, we get 500,000 people, transient people that come on the Cape and the islands that really tax the water systems here. And I learned recently, I attended the now I can't think of the name, Cape Island Indivisible, I believe it's called, group the other day. And I learned there that one of the biggest problems we have here on Cape Cod is nitrogen buildup in the water. We only have one freshwater table for the entirety of Cape Cod.
Wow.
Okay. But only about 11% of the waste here on Cape Cod is sewered. So that means they use septic systems. And those septic systems leach nitrogen into the water table. And high nitrogen values then create other problems. So, and the speaker was saying that it would cost about $8 billion to sewer the entirety of Cape Cod.
Wow.
So anyway, there are some unique things to the Cape. There's also some things that aren't so unique. We have, unfortunately, a pretty devastating opioid and alcoholism problem here.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Yeah. And it extends off the Cape as well. And, I'm a big proponent to finding solutions for that crisis that don't punish chronic pain sufferers. Because right now, I don't know if you've heard the stories, there are so many people that are chronic pain sufferers that are effectively being denied adequate pain medication because the doctors are afraid of repercussions, that they're going to be responsible for, a possible untimely death. But there has to be a way of mitigating that. And I hope to work with the communities and Congress to deal with this epidemic, because it's killing an enormous number of people, both here and nationally.
Yeah, it's devastating, man. I've been following the opiate crisis, man, and I think some of the stories are not really being told, Bill, like what's really going on. I know West Virginia, some of my folks who watch the show from West Virginia, they've been telling me what's going on in their communities, and it seems like it's just all a racket, brother, to make money. Like they're pumping in so much of these medications into these towns and cities all across America in anticipation for people to then, it seems like, become addicted to them, Bill, because, they have like, I'm thinking one small town in West Virginia, they had like 1,000 capsules or pills available for every citizen, like some crazy number. And I'm like, what is going on with this? I don't know. I don't know.
And I don't know if you saw recently, there's some data now that's showing that marijuana is having tremendously beneficial effects in treating opioid addiction. But of course, that gets swept under the rug, because that's no good. We have to use something the pharmaceuticals can make in their labs and charge crazy money for. Yeah. Otherwise, that's not a viable solution. And since
give it up for Bill there. But Bill, you're really batting a high percentage here, sir. You're really batting a high percentage here on these questions, man.
Well, it comes easy, it's not hard. It's really not hard.
When you just speak from the heart.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like counter to what people who run for office kind of do. Like they think about what I got to say and make sure it fits in this thing. So what else? I mean, Bill, I'm having such a great time talking to you, man. What's another thing? I know I'm missing a lot from your platform that you would like to hit on.
Well, thank you. So single payer, of course, needs to happen. If you look at how do we know government doesn't work for us? We don't have single payer. We don't have free education. We don't have. Let me see. We don't have cars that are running just on batteries, right?
Electric, right.
Electric, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think of all the things we don't have, and every single one of those things points to what? A Congress that works for corporate moneyed interest, the 1%, the oligarchy, whatever you want to call it. They don't work for us, Tim. And I support universal basic income as we're moving more and more towards automation. I think it's going to become imperative that we have a baseline that actually it needs to exceed the poverty level, because keeping somebody at poverty is not the answer.
Right. Just for my clarification, Bill, the 9th district in Massachusetts, is that anywhere near? Like I was reading some disturbing reports about black folks in Boston, and it was like that they are truly like near the poverty line or beneath it. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe. Like I never knew that Boston had such a wealth disparity. I don't know if that's Boston or just Massachusetts. I don't know where it is. Are you familiar with the story I'm referring to? Maybe it's made headlines there in your area.
I am absolutely familiar with the story. I can tell you that the 9th district does not have a large population of African Americans, and it doesn't have a
lot of poor folks.
Well, they're off Cape, but there's some on Cape too. So you've got a mix here, and there's a tremendous dichotomy, because you have a lot of wealth here on the Cape and on the islands, but by the same token, you've got these pockets of people that are living in despair and in poverty. But I can tell you that the 9th district, I don't think suffers from what we've seen in Boston.
Gotcha. I actually, just on a personal note, man, in Maryland, where I'm at now, I'm in Charles County now, and I see the same thing. Like they're great neighborhood. Go a couple blocks, not so great. Go another block, it's a whole other world. Go another block, great, and not so great. It's sort of, I don't know what that is, and that can be in the same district. So I'm not sure why that exists, brother. But so education, environment. Bill's talking about I would think there was I think there was another section on there that really jumped out at me. What was it? Single payer, of course, you just talked about. What else, Bill? I could just throw a dart and pick one of those great.
We talked about education. We talked about homelessness is another one. I don't know exactly what's offhand. I don't remember what I've got on the site.
Okay. But homelessness, yeah, that's. I would not think that about. But that's, again, I've never been to Massachusetts, so I guess I have no call or reference. It's just, you know how it is. You get the imagery of what a place is, what a state is like, what cities are like from media, and
right.
And they show you what they want you to see, right? So you never get to see the real deal.
Well, it's amazing to me. The other day I walked, I don't want to mention the market or the place, but I was on the Cape and I walked out of a supermarket here locally, and it was frigid cold out. It wasn't this last spell of cold, but it was really cold out. And I saw an individual laying on the sidewalk, completely covered up to the point where I really couldn't tell the gender of the person. I don't know if it was a he or she. And I didn't notice it, frankly, until I'd driven past them. And I got out of the parking lot and I immediately called the local police. And I was obviously the only one that had called. And this person had obviously been there for some time. And that's disturbing. And we can't keep walking either figuratively or literally over our homeless people, our people that are suffering from malnutrition. And it's not just homelessness. It's also, you can have a roof over your head, but also the quality of that roof matters, one of the things I'm a big proponent of, which maybe was one of the things you were thinking of, is worker-owned cooperatives.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Such a unique, it's something I'm really interested in, community aspect of that. Could you explain a little bit more about it?
Well, I actually, years ago, going back to 2010, 2011, I created another job site called jobaction.org. It's still up, and basically it's a resource site for people that want to start worker-owned cooperatives, kind of a meeting point where people can also find each other for that. The point is that what does a worker-owned cooperative deliver for you? Basically, I say it's worker democracy surrounded by an island of capitalism. Okay. And it's still working, people working together. It's mutual ownership. It's not like Tim's the president and everyone's subservient to Tim. Excuse me. We all work together towards the same goal. Generally speaking, people have the same level of ownership, or they can essentially work their way into a level of ownership by different levels. It's not to say you're working for free while you're doing that. You're putting in time, and by putting in time, you attain levels of ownership. The point is, everyone participates. Everyone shares in the wealth. You don't have You don't have a CEO that's making 3,000 times what the guy at the bottom is making. Okay.
Right.
So if the company's profitable, then everyone is doing well and everyone's happy. So what happens in a situation like that? Everyone's motivated. Yeah. Automatically.
Yeah, the success is built on everyone benefits from the success. So everyone's working harder too.
Everyone's on the same team. And if people want to read up on it, one of the most successful international worker-owned cooperatives is called the Mondragon Corporation. And you can Google, I shouldn't say Google, you can web search.
Right. Google doesn't need any more of our advertising.
Right. So Mondragon Corporation, check them out. They've got, I believe, 125 different subsidiaries in virtually every industry. And the neat thing about Mondragon is they also offered free education to everyone in the worker co-ops.
Man, it sounds very impressive, and sounds like cutting edge stuff. You know what I mean? Like new ideas to solve old problems and give people access and just kind of spread the resources, so to speak, so that this income inequality is a big deal, and I think that that is a new way, a novel way to kind of combat that type of stuff. I don't know, Bill, man, you are really killing it. I'm just wondering what are people looking for? What do you think is going to motivate people to come out and vote for you and defeat? Who's your challenge? Who's the incumbent? So yeah.
His name is William Keating. He's a corporate centrist Democrat.
Of course.
Career politician. He was a district attorney at one time. Was instrumental in writing laws that treated juvenile offenders as adults and sent them, And recently, Massachusetts actually just passed the law that allowed juvenile offenders that were tried as adults, sort of a forgive and forget kind of legislation that went through to wipe the slate clean for these kids, well, young adults now. So that's a huge step in the right direction. He's very much been part of the surveillance state Although on this very last round, he did vote no, and maybe he knows I'm breathing down his neck. I don't know. But prior to that, he had voted for every surveillance act known to man, and very pro corporate America. And the evidence is clear. If we keep going down this path, we're writing our own epitaph.
So basically, guys, Mr. Keating sounds like just the type of Democrat that we want to kick out of office. The kind that spearheaded the losses that the Democrats have seen in the last decade. That corporatist focus, that centrist, just take care of Wall Street, take care of the donors, screw the people, let's go this way kind of guy that we don't. And I'm assuming it's a guy, but that we don't need in office anymore. And Bill sounds definitely like the opposite of that. From what I can tell, everything I've heard tonight. So what lessons have you learned? Because this is not your first time running. What's some lessons you learned from your last bout?
Well, if you recall, my first bout, as you call it, I ran for Senate back in 2011, 2012. And at that time, Scott Brown was the Republican Senate incumbent. And you may also remember that Elizabeth Warren won against Scott Brown. At that time, I ran as an independent. Well, mistake number one, because here in Massachusetts, unless you have a D or an R next to your name, it's unfortunate. You don't get a lot of attention paid to you. And look, the greatest proof I can give of that is that here you've got Jill Stein, who's from Lexington, Massachusetts. She ran obviously for president. She didn't get 2% of the vote here in her own state. Okay. And to me, that's very telling. And I went back and forth. I don't know if you saw me on Twitter when I actually ran a poll on Twitter. I was asking people, should I run as a Dem or should I run as an Indie? Right.
Right.
And I ran that poll. I think I ran that poll 3 times. and finally it came down to if I wanted to get in and be an instrument of change, as much as I wanted to run as an independent, it just wasn't going to happen unless I ran as a Democrat. So I'm here. There are many people that have Dem exited. Now in Massachusetts, we have open primaries. So they're free to vote for me, which is a good thing. And I understand it. I get it. We all feel like we've been betrayed. And I'm asking people to vote the person. And yes, I'm riding on the Democratic coattail. But please know who I am. Look at my website. Look at my Twitter threads. You'll know immediately what I'm about and what I'm not about.
Absolutely. Hey, look. I like the fact that you're bringing that point home so that people understand that this is terrain that we have, and we have to work within like this situation. The how could I say, the politics of the local environment. And if Bill wants to make a real impact, he's got to know that stuff. He's got to know the terrain, and you can tell what type of person Bill is or what type of platform he has by actually becoming educated on it. Don't let the D or the, even if it was an R, I don't care what the letter is. I agree with Bill 100%. It's about the character of the individual, and if they're going to go represent you, or they're going to go represent Wall Street or private prisons like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who I can't stand, or or some other corporation. And that's really what matters. And what about super PACs, Bill? You got a lot of PAC money stuck under your cellar there in Boston.
No. So we're only taking personal donations. We're not taking corporate donations. I flat out will not. We'll just send them back. I will accept labor unions if they want to, as a PAC, if they're willing to do that, or anything really that aligns with progressive values. Okay, if it was some sort of renewable energy thing, I support the Green New Deal, which is also on my campaign website. Producing millions of jobs with by at the same time reducing the carbon footprint. But point is, personal donations are what our bread and butter is. We are looking right now for volunteers in the 9th District to help our campaign grow. We've had some really exciting initial response. We've been on the radio here locally now, and recently on Rebel HQ, and so we're excited about the momentum that we're building and the reaction. But you know, the sad reality is, until there's federal matching dollars for campaigns for all people that run, the money is key. It really is.
Well, look, Bill, I just want to thank you so much for taking time out. Man, I'm sorry. I thought you ran like in 2015. I don't know why I felt like you ran for office then. I don't know.
I poked my toe in for a second.
Okay.
And I just realized that it just wasn't going to come together. I had we had a lot of stuff going on personally.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Gotcha. It's just that I thought I remembered that, Bill, because
you're right.
Because I was like corresponding with Bill, and I was like, damn it, Bill, are you going to run? And I felt like, you know, I used to feel like the weight of the world was on my shoulders, man. Like, I got to help candidates in these districts get elected, and I felt like I got to get everybody on the show. But I like I said, man, I'm just really proud to say I had Bill Cimbrelo on the show, and he talked about his campaign, his platform, and it really sounds like something that's very intriguing, and more people need to know about it. Bill, where do people go to find out more about what you got going on, brother?
Tim, before I do that, I am so grateful to you for my appearance here today, but I'm also grateful for you and what you do for all progressives and all people that need to be heard. What you do is invaluable, and you know, push that applause button for you, man.
I'll do it, Bill. Thanks, man. I had a rough Friday, Bill, so this is great. This energy from you is really great, man.
No, you're the best, and I wish you the best. I really appreciate it. So I was proactive here. So I have my little sign. So these are the websites on the top, BillCimbrelo.com, and the Twitter hashtag. I'm very active on Twitter, and I will talk to you there if you talk to me. At Bill_Cimbrelo, and on Facebook it's just Bill Cimbrelo, all run together.
I love it, Bill. That's an excellent infographic. and look, guys, go. If you got questions for Bill, hit him up on Twitter. He'll answer your question.
Absolutely.
He's a very approachable guy. He's real. He's sincere. I think you got that. I think you got that feeling from him tonight. Bill, thank you once again for showing up, being here, and speaking truth to power, brother. Hey, look, guys, that's all. I will see you again. Tomorrow's Wednesday, not Wednesday. Actually, I have Coffee for Tim Black tomorrow, and then Black Word today. So from me and my friend Bill Cimbrelo, don't forget to go visit him on his website, BillCimbrelo.com, and you know where to find him on Twitter. You just saw the infographic. Rewind this tape. You'll get it. Take a snapshot and go there. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you again, Tim. Thanks a lot, Tim. Appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Tim Black. Tim Black.
All right.
Tim Black. Yes, I am.
We're done.
Truth.